these down the row.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We're happy to have Mary Margaret Castleberg with us today. Mary Margaret is running for the 73rd House of Delegates seat, which covers our district. So it's an important election. Regardless of who wins the governor, attorney general, or lieutenant governor, it's critical that we understand the people that are running for our district and what they represent. So I think it's an opportunity for all of us to get to know her better. She's a 35 years in Henrico, maybe? And she's a professional lady. She's got a real job. So I'm not going to talk too much about her background, but I'm just going to say welcome, Mary Margaret. We're glad to have you.
So much for inviting me, and just briefly we're gonna, I'll just say a few things and then I'd be happy to take questions and answer as well as I can, and then I'll be here a little while afterwards, for individual questions. I am Mary Margaret Castleberg, and I am running for the House of Delegates to represent this district, and I can win this race. We can win this race and bring back some common sense and end one-party control in Virginia. Team MMK is strong. Nobody is outworking us. We've got the right message, and we're right on the policies, and this time, substance and hard work are going to win. So let me tell you a little quick tale from the trail. I've been out for months now, knocking on doors and talking with voters directly. Really, I'm asking them to hire me, so the best way to hear from the people that I want to hire me is to go directly to them and hear directly from them. And I'm about to hit 3,000 doors. I'll hit that this week. And it's different out there this year than it was 2 years ago. When I go up to the door and I ask somebody what issues are most important to you or your family, people have a lot to say. They'll step out on their porch. Sometimes they'll whisper because they're afraid of, retribution or, this whole cancel culture thing. And they've got a lot to say. They're fed up and they're ready to get Virginia back where we want it to be. Again, they don't recognize Virginia. This is very different than 2019. So some of you in this room have known me since I was a child. But for the rest of you, just a little background on me. I am a homegrown Henrico native, lived here my whole life, worked here my whole life, and other than Princeton and UVA, I've lived here for 58 years. And family is most important to me. I'm married to Jean, and who long ago when Cedar Field first opened was one of the physicians that used to work in the medical center or be on call in the medical center. I have 2 children, although they're technically adults, both Virginia Tech grads, and real proud of them. And that's a big part of why I'm running. I'm concerned about their future. But I'm a financial person, 30 plus years in the financial sector. I'm a numbers girl. I'm an analyst by nature. And I think we could use some more of those skills in the House of Delegates, don't you? Maybe not so many lawyers there, but some financial people, business people. And Jean and I and our family have invested a lot of time in the community because we want it to be the best it can be. We want it to be good for everybody. And, we're not trying to fill out our resume. This is our home, and it always will be. And that's why it's a big part of why I'm running. I want Henrico to be a great place to live and work, raise your family, educate your children. And I'm frustrated. Right now I don't recognize a lot of what I see, so that has motivated me to run. Trust me, I would not be putting it all on the line if I didn't think I could win. There's a lot at stake. And like I said, the environment's different now than it was 2 years ago. And Rodney Willett has a voting record. He's pretty much a rubber stamp for the progressive left agenda. He's not who he says he is. And we all saw what got passed the last 2 years. But if something doesn't change, here's what's coming. Right to work. Virginia's been a proud right to work state for a long, long time. That will end. Advanced math curriculum, Virginia Math Pathways Initiative, that'll be here to stay. Lowering the standards for our students. Critical race theory, that's here to stay too. They'll call it something else, say it's not there, but it's here. So, we need to do better. I know we can do better. And this campaign is really about putting Virginia and the people of the 73rd District first. That's what it's all about. It's not about a national agenda. It's about addressing issues here and getting things done for people in Henrico. So, how do we do that? I was 1,200 votes short in 2019. 4%, that's not a lot. So, I need your help. I need to find 1,200 votes. Part of that, you guys can help by helping us get the message out. Go follow us on social media. Tell your friends and family that you are supporting me. That goes a long way to getting other people to join in. We're having a lot of success at the doors, talking with people in the middle, swing voters. I had quite a few this weekend that told me they were dyed-in-the-wool Democrats or whatever, and they said they were going to be voting for me. People are fed up. They're ready to get common sense back to our state, to our Commonwealth, and they're tired of people going to their corners and not talking to each other. So it's really important, that we bring people back to the Republican Party and to vote in this election because there's a lot at stake. As your delegate, I will take my job seriously. I'll do my homework, I'll do my analysis, and I'll bring reason and common sense and accountability back to the forefront where they should be. I'm a really good listener, and I will never outsource thinking for myself. The best interests of the people of the 73rd District will be my focus and not some national agenda. So the time is now, right here, right now, you, me, come together, look towards November, and bring Virginia back from the brink. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. We're going to open this up for questions, and I guess I'll lead off. The first question is, how can you bring, how do you expect to bring people together to, it's not just a Republican and a Democratic thing. How do we get back together? That's the question I would have.
Well, I think part of it is, like I said, listening. And, as I'm going out and talking to people either at their doors or meeting with business people and donors, they feel like nobody's listening. Nobody's hearing what we're saying, that, we need common sense. We need to be addressing issues. And, again, not focused on stuff that doesn't have anything to do with us here in the 73rd. That message resonates with everyone, and I'm willing to work with people that don't agree with me. I'm willing to talk with people that don't agree with me. And right now, it seems like that's not the case. I don't believe that you can get anything done if you're not even willing to talk to other people. And what people are responding to is when I make judgments and decisions, and I've done this in my business career, I've done it in the community, as well as I make decisions based on input and data, talking to people, and then making an informed judgment. And I think that's what we're missing right now.
So,
first, I want to thank you for trying this again.
Thank you.
You decided to do that, and I'm sure that is at no small cost to you and your family. And the second question is just some numbers. What is the split now, Democrat, Republican, in the House of Delegates? What do we need to get to?
And thank you for recognizing that it is an undertaking, but it's not just me, it's a lot of people that are coming together to make this happen. I've got a team, but we have great volunteer support. We've got great support from the business community, and none of this would be possible without a lot of people coming together to make it happen. But thank you for recognizing that. This year, 6 seats is what we need to pick up to return the majority in the House of Delegates. 6. So there are quite a few what they're calling targeted races. This is one of them. That's a good opportunity.
Any questions? We've got the mic right here.
When you're knocking on doors, Mary Margaret, what are some of the main issues that you hear people talking about over and over again, and how are you planning to respond to that?
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Hearing a lot about education and many different things there. I'm hearing parents in particular that are concerned about the learning loss that has happened over the last year and how they and teachers are going to deal with that. The approach, I think it'll be debated for years whether shutting down the schools was a good idea or not. I mean, I'm of the camp that it wasn't. Believe that we could have mitigated the disease effectively without shutting the schools down. So there's that issue, and the approach for a long time in education has been one size fits all. And if that's ever not going to work, it's going to be this year. When you'll have, especially in the K through 5, where kids will come in maybe starting 4th grade. You're going to have kids that are reading, they haven't been in a classroom potentially for a year and a half. They could potentially still be at a 2nd grade reading level. And you might have some that did very well, with parent, instruction. That's going to be very difficult for teachers. So I am hearing a lot about that, hearing about curriculum, a lot about parents of older students, this notion of we're going to lower the guidelines, especially when it comes to math in the curriculum. So education, and really, just to back up for a minute, that's why people live here in Henrico, is people come here because it is great for families. In the schools, we have a strong history of very highly rated public schools, and that affects property values. It affects the whole community, and people are feeling like that's at risk. There are quite a few that have pulled their students from the public schools because they've been disappointed and feeling like their children weren't getting the instruction. So that's education. Generally, kind of the top level people are frustrated with feeling like nobody's listening to them, and that how are we going to solve problems if we can't even talk to each other? And then small businesses, I've heard, whether it's people that are owners of small businesses or people that are trying to hire or people that are trying to be customers of small businesses, that there aren't enough people. There's so many job openings, and people are frustrated that others are being paid not to work. So, that's I'm hearing a lot about that. Those are kind of the top.
How about civilian review boards? Have you heard anything about that?
I have not at the doors. I have not heard that. And I will say, I'm not just going to neighborhoods that are would typically be considered favorable to me. I'm going everywhere. Going all over the district. Back there?
we got one back here in the back.
Hi, I'm Joy Nevin, and
Hi, Joy.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you. Thank you for coming. And my concern is all this talk about the teaching of the CRT and to the young children, and I'm really concerned about that. And I want to know if you have been approached about policy that you have for or against it.
Not a specific policy, but I'm definitely hearing about that across the district, that people are concerned that that is in our schools, both from parents who have witnessed some. Oh, I'm sorry. She was asking about critical race theory and what that entailed. So parents are concerned about it because, fundamental to that is it divides students into groups of either you're an oppressor or you're a victim. And I don't believe personally that we want any of our young students in particular to feel like they're not good enough and that they can't achieve because they're a victim, or our other students to feel like, they're like 5 and 6 years old. They're kids. I just don't think that's appropriate, and I don't think it's the appropriate message. I think there are other ways to teach history that is inclusive and, makes the point of, we are not a perfect country, but we've done a lot, and, we're the best place to achieve equality on the face of the earth.
Bill?
I'm Bill Smith, and I want to share some thoughts with you, then ask you your opinion at the end, and ask you will you earn my vote. So let me get to that. I've never been as involved in politics as I have been lately. I grew up as a Democrat. My family was a Democrat. My parents would roll over in their grave today if they saw what has happened to the Democrat Party. Democrat Party is, in my opinion, is really a Republican Party today. We're being led down the road, and this is just my opinion, we're being led down the road to become a socialist nation. And if we don't step up and do something about it, and I have been saying this for some time, Mike, I'm amazed and proud of the attendance we've got here tonight. But going home and forgetting it, I like what you're saying, but the key is, are we going to go home and share this with our friends and our people and get votes? If we don't take this country back in the next election, I fear we'll never be able to do it. Now, my question to you, I don't know whether you comment on some of these, but so many times I've heard a politician tell me what I wanted to hear. And when they got to Washington, they forgot me. They wanted to get on committees. They lost. They started out wanting to get reelected. My question to you, if I give you my vote, will you go and represent me and do what you say rather than trying to get reelected and forget all about me? Now that's my question to you.
I will not forget about you, Bill. I'm not going to Washington. So let's just be clear about that.
Same principle.
Yeah, but I live here. I've lived here my whole life, and I'm not going anywhere. And I think that's a big part of going out door to door. Is you need to face the people that you represent. You can't just hide in an office and shoot out emails. You've got to be out there talking, engaging with voters that agree with you, that don't agree with you, because you learn from all of that. And that's what I'm doing. And I've done that my whole life in my business career, in my community endeavors. And trust me, I'm not looking to start a new career either. I'm perfectly happy with the one I have that pays me. So it's a valid point. And honestly, it's part of why I'm running, because I am frustrated that people get elected and then they just forget where they came from and they stop listening.
Sylvia?
So, I just have a couple of questions. The first is, you talked about your career, but I don't really know what that career was or is. I don't think this is on. seniors and how you would address those issues.
Okay. Thank you for the question. And just a little specifics on my career. I have my MBA, and I've been in a lot of different parts of the financial sector. So I did securitization of mortgages for a while. It was mortgage mergers and acquisitions. I worked as a business manager for a small business locally, doing all the payroll and the receivables and payables and all that, paying the payroll taxes. And now I'm a financial advisor. So I work with families and individuals as they prepare and enter retirement, make sure they don't run out of money, both investing and all the other kind of advice that goes along with that. So the issues, in my view, that have the biggest impact on seniors are somewhat financial: taxes, inflation, and those are things that are happening right before our eyes. You know, the gas tax has gone up. My opponent voted to increase the gas tax, and that's a multi-year increase. So we're going to, aside from what the price of a barrel of oil costs, that gas tax is going up. So people are feeling that at the pump right now. Inflation, some of these policies of just, this is basic economics, just flooding the system with cash, paying people not to work is inflationary. So it's pushing wages up, which, wages needed to come up some, but, that's inflationary. So if you go to the grocery store and spend $100 every week, right now you're coming back with a lot fewer groceries. So I think that when we're making policies like that, electric bill, all these types of hidden taxes that aren't called taxes, affect the cost of living, and especially for seniors, many of whom are relying on a fixed source of income, that can be very devastating. So I'm mindful of this.
I have another question for you.
Sure.
Can you tell us some of the people that have endorsed you? And Claiborne Terry, I want you to pay close attention to this.
Well, quite a few. I'm very proud that last week the Spirit of VMI PAC endorsed me. I was very honored to have that endorsement this year. Governor Gilmore has endorsed me, the Republican caucus. Siobhan Donovan, John O'Bannon, who was our former delegate, John McGuire. There are quite a few more, but those are the ones off the top
I
of my
want
head.
the spirit of Ward Claiborne. I want you to hear that VMI.
Dr. Bynum.
know it.
Anybody else with a question? Yes, right here.
I'm a retired community college professor. I taught at the downtown campus of J. Sargent Reynolds for 28 years. I'm very concerned many of the students I got out of our public school systems cannot read, write, and do arithmetic. And I'm not talking about algebra. I'm talking about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. They can't read at grade level, and when you give them a curriculum that's at 13th grade level, they really struggle. And now I'm hearing the federal government wants to give us free community college education. And the question that came to my mind immediately, well, for all those students who come in unprepared and have to spend a year learning how to read, write, and do arithmetic, does that use up one of their free years and then they don't have enough money to finish the curriculum? I think we're opening a can of worms, and I'm very concerned about what our legislature may do with the community college system in Virginia.
Thank you for that question, and thank you for your time in the community college system. It's a really important part of our overall system for helping students become self-sustaining. They 4-year college, 2-year program, or directly into a technical program. Students should have those choices so that they have a path to becoming self-sufficient. And I'd like to see more people go the community college route, partner with businesses to create students that are job ready and have jobs to go into. I referenced earlier the proposed math curriculum change. If you really, it's called the Virginia Math Pathways Initiative. If you dig down into some of the all the stuff underneath, one of the things that is spelled out in there is that routine practice of math facts, multiplication tables, addition is outdated. Stunning, really. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. But you can't build if you don't even have a foundation. So again, I feel like this is an example of where some national agenda is coming to have impact on what we're doing here, and I don't think it serves our students well at all. So I share your concern.
Anybody else? Well, I want to thank Mary Margaret for coming.
Thank you.
And let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
If you want to speak to her, she'll be here for a few more minutes, and you can come up and meet and greet.
Thank you.
Don't take all donations.
You need to come to all the events with